Magical Murray family. Today is Friday, the 3rd of October, and we had a great week at Murray. On Tuesday, we had our first Special Education Advisory Team meeting of the year. Thank you for those who attended. We got lots of good feedback and great ideas for how to move forward. On Wednesday was our PFC meeting, and on Thursday was Custodian Appreciation Day. So a big thank you and shout out to Miss Crystal, who's our lead custodian, and our night crew led by Miss Maria. And they make sure that Murray is clean for all of us. And then today, Friday, was the last day of our Wheelchair Foundation fundraiser, so I'm excited to get the bins. We have little cans in classrooms where kids have been donating money. I'm excited to count that and see how much overall we raised. Next week on Wednesday, we have our SSC meeting at 3:15, and then Friday, the 10th, is the end of the first quarter. Hard to believe. So progress reports will be available on the parent portal in 2 weeks. And then Friday night, we have 5th grade stargazing. So I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend. It is still Latinx Hispanic Heritage Month, and so I have a great book for you today called Side by Side, Lado a Lado, the story of Dolores Huerta and Cesar Chavez. So make sure you can see the pictures. In New Mexico, there lived a little girl named Dolores, who talked so fast that her grandfather once said, "Dolores, you must have 7 tongues." Many miles away in Arizona, there lived a little boy named Cesar, who was a very good listener. Cesar listened to his mother cry when his family lost its home and they had to become migrant farm workers. Migrant farm workers are people who work on farms, but they move from farm to farm and from place to place. When Dolores was a girl, she moved to California with her mother and brothers. She joined the Girl Scouts and worked to raise money for soldiers fighting in World War II. Cesar's family moved to California to follow the crops and work in the fields. Although he had to drop out of school to work, Cesar always had a book under his arm. From her mother, Dolores learned to think of others. When poor farm worker families had no place to sleep, Dolores' mother would let them stay at her hotel for free. Life for Cesar's family was difficult. All day they bent over in the hot sun picking lettuce, strawberries, and grapes. There was never enough water to drink out in the fields. Dolores grew up and became a teacher. She saw the farm worker children come to school cold and barefoot, too hungry to learn as well as they could. When Cesar grew up, he and his friends were hurt by dangerous tools and had mean bosses who sprayed the plants with poisons that make the farm workers sick. You see the poisons coming out of the plane. Then something special happened. Dolores and Cesar met. Dolores saw that Cesar had great faith. His dreams would bring hope to thousands of farm workers. Cesar saw that Dolores had great courage. She would stand up and fight for what was right. Side by side, Dolores and Cesar began their journey. Dolores and Cesar drove from town to town, standing on the back of flatbed trucks and inviting farm workers to join La Causa, the cause for justice. Together, they demanded better living and working conditions for the farm workers. Cesar and Dolores asked people to stop buying grapes from California because the poisons the growers used there were making the workers sick. People listened, and the grapes rotted on the vines. The farm workers won. They got a safer place to work, and grapes became safer for people to eat. Cesar led men, women, and children on a 340-mile march to demand that workers get paid enough to live on. They arrived in Sacramento, California on April 10th, Dolores' birthday. Dolores gave an amazing speech, and the people were heard. The growers signed a contract with the workers, giving them better pay for their hard work. It was time for the farm workers to share in the harvest. Though they each had a large family, little food, and no money, when Dolores and Cesar sat down at Cesar's kitchen table, they always looked for ways to make the world a better place. If we don't help the farm workers, Cesar asked Dolores, who will? When the growers and the politicians wouldn't listen, Cesar stopped eating for 36 days so that others would understand how important it was to protect the workers. When their bosses bullied them, the workers used to say, "We can't do it, we can't win." But with the help of Dolores, they began to chant, "Si se puede, yes we can." For 30 years, Dolores and Cesar worked and listened and talked and marched side by side. Dolores and Cesar worked to help families stay together. They fought to pass the Immigration Act of 1986 that helped more than 1 million immigrants become United States citizens. Dolores and Cesar had many victories because they knew that, together, all things were possible. In 1993, Cesar passed away, and Dolores and the farm workers marched to honor him. Dolores still works and marches for justice for the poor, and she is not alone. The spirit of Cesar Chavez is with her, by her side. Side by side, lado a lado. This book also, all of that is in English and in Spanish in this book. I hope that you enjoyed this book. This is about real people who did things to make our world better and to help others. So, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourselves. I will see you on Monday. And remember, today and every day, it's great to be a cougar. Bye, Cougars.